McDonald's is a last name. Abercrombie and Fitch, last names. Armani is a last name. Baskin Robbins is a last name. Chrysler is a last name. Fisher Price, Gucci, Hennessy, Harley Davidson, Hilton, Honda, Kohl's, Kraft Foods, Lowe's Movie Theater, Marriott is a last name. Maybach is a last name. Nordstrom is a last name. Pillsbury is a last name. Porsche is a last name. Procter & Gamble, 2 last names. Rolls Royce, Charles Rolls Henry Royce, last names. Turner Broadcast System, Ted Turner, last name. Versace, last name. Wells Fargo, Henry Wells, William Fargo, last name. Walgreens, last name. Wrigley's, last name. Welch's Grape Juice, last name. Here you are, you think you're buying a product. You are not buying a product, you're buying a name. You think you're wearing a product. Hey, look at this product. No, you're saying, look at this family. And what you don't know is while you making every family rich, you making yourself broke. So you done went to one family called Wells Fargo and got $200,000 so you can go to another family called Rolls Royce so you can give them money to get yourself a car so you can go back to the hood and see the Joneses and say, look at what I got. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo, their family's sitting up being rich, and Harley Davidsons and Rolls Royce are being rich, and the Joneses are sitting there holding up people's stuff saying, look at what we did and we broke. What if I told you that your blessing is attached to your name? That part of the reason why you're not wealthy yet is because you keep trying to make Yolanda wealthy. You keep trying to make Tasha wealthy. What if you made Johnson's wealthy? What if you started thinking about your kids? What if you started thinking about your legacy? What if God started dropping Canaan and opening up windows of heaven? Because now you're not just thinking about you, you're thinking kingdom. There are some people who are attached to you who say, Mama, can you do something with this name? There's some people who are saying, Dad, can you do something with this name? Maybe God gave you the name to change and reverse some of the stuff that the name meant one day. I wish there was somebody in this room that say my name might mean one thing right now, but I promise after today, this name's getting ready to change. I promise after today, everybody's going to want my last name. I'm here to let you know you are a curse breaker. You're thinking kingdom. You are not just getting married, you're breaking a curse. You are not just graduating from college, you're breaking a curse. You are not just getting out of high school, you're breaking a curse. You are not just saved, you're breaking a curse. And everybody around you is about to be blessed because of what God's getting ready to do in your life.
Hey y'all. So I hope everybody's well and having an absolutely incredible Sunday night. Let's see. So I hope you're good and hope you had a great Sunday. Did you go to church today? What's up? Did you go to church today? Okay, so listen, I'm so sorry if I pulled you away from the McDonald's Gospel Inspirational Holiday Fest. Gospel McDonald's. We love y'all. That's a really long name. Okay, so. But the gospel holiday tour is still happening. So this is what's so great about social media and so great about YouTube. All you have to do is click it, replay it, and watch it again. All right. So please be sure that you share your favorite moments from that wonderful event. Kurt Carr, James Fortune, Brian Courtney Wilson, The Walls, Colorado's own Sunday Best Winner, Stephanie Summers. So it was really cool. So be sure that you check that out. All right. So if you're here, say I'm here. Please share. I'm going to share some amazing stuff tonight. And I have some very amazing people that said they give me a couple minutes of their time. Most of my panel is guys. So that means they're not watching the game for me. So please be sure that you share. Okay. Let's make this time really great. So before I bring the guys on, I want to share something with you really quick. And then I'll bring them on and they can maybe tag in on this too. What happens, it's getting ready to be Christmas, not too long from now. And a lot of things that happen during the holiday are scams. And they happen in a very, 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 very major way. And it's very easy for people to scam, especially with still thousands of people, probably millions of people working from home. Due to the pandemic. So I can't give it, all the way in one day. I don't honestly know it all, but this is what I do want to help you do. Pay attention. If it feels wrong, it's probably wrong. If it doesn't feel right to you, it probably is wrong, and you probably should check it. So, a good example: 3 things happened to me this week. I got a call from my bank. My phone was just ringing and ringing and ringing constantly from my bank. Several text messages, and I just thought it was an error. And actually, someone had somehow got a hold of my account and used my card. It wasn't a lot. We caught it the day it happened. It was an authorized charge that supposedly went through. And so what helped me was my bank. I have no problems telling you I bank with Bank of America, and they stayed on it until they spoke with me personally, and we got it. We got the error fixed immediately. So that's to say, watch your cards. Everybody is not kind. My pastor said something really, really good today. Uh, nice people can be bad too. If that makes, I'll say the, a little bit nice way. Nice people can be bad too, and so nice people can appear to have everything together and be polite while they're stealing your credit card. So please, please, please pay attention. Something else that happened. I got an email that said I had a bill due for Norton antivirus service. There was a phone number, there was an account and everything. When I called, they said this is Norton, and something just felt off. So I went on Google, I looked up the official number for Norton. I called, come to find out it was false. It was a false claim. So if it feels wrong, it's probably wrong. And it's really, really important that you protect you, your money, your family by watching scam. Now, this is another scam that's happened as I get ready to bring up these amazing people, is a designer scam that's been happening for quite a while. And so if y'all designers, they're probably looking up like, what? Someone inboxes you and says, hey, they email you, they find your contact information, whether through your website, through Instagram, and they say, hey, I would like to use your services. Do you offer brochures? Do you offer posters? Do you offer signs? And you're reading it like, oh, this is good. And you're reading it. They tell you what their budget is. The budget is going to be a substantial amount of money, well over $2,000, well over $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. And then they say in the email, now I want you to go ahead and do the work and then contact me when you get done, and I'll meet you with payment. It is a scam. It is a scam that's been happening for several years. And every now and then it comes around again. So please, please, please be careful. Whoever you are, wherever you are, be careful. This is my last 20-second tip. A storage organizer named Miss Sharonda shared something with me yesterday that I thought was really amazing, which let me know that I needed to be talking about scams with you. She shared with me that it's dangerous. So a lot of people do, when I pay bills, I go to Victoria's Secret, and I log out, then I go to blah, 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 then I go to blah, blah, blah. She shared something with me that's really dangerous. So what you should do is you should have one source for all your bills, be it your bank account, be it PayPal, whatever system you use, and then let all your bills, be coming from that one account. That way your passwords are not floating all around the internet. I've been doing this for years, and I never thought about that because I automatically log in, right? So just be careful. Change your passwords often. Do something that you can remember, but you should be changing your passwords probably about every 3 to 4 months. And I mean, if you're like someone like myself, you may have several accounts, or you may be at Amazon, Walmart, you may be having groceries delivered. Change those passwords often. Keep up with your cards. Check into your bank account at least every other day if you can't do once a day. But the holiday season is coming. I'm telling y'all, a major amount of scam happens right now. And if it doesn't feel good to you, if something feels off, if you are buying a gaming system and it's only $19, there is something wrong, okay? I just want you to know it's something not right with that. So if you're buying it from eBay and it's something not right with that. And then you get a box and it don't work. Trust your gut. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna bring up my guests. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Okay. I'm gonna bring them up one kind of like all together. Okay. So I have Mr. Jared Michael.
Hello.
Okay. So I have Mr. Jared Michael. Then I have Mr. Gabriel Titus. Make sure I can fit all these people. Right. Then I have Pastor Dion Jefferson. I have Trayvon. And then I have Dr. Moles, overseer. Oh, they all fit.
The bros in the house.
Yes, sir.
Oh, guys. Now there should be a lady coming. If she makes it in, that's Pastor Mickey King. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Okay, so in 1 minute, because you may or may not know who they are. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Okay, now I want to give a disclaimer because I've done lives with 2 of these people. So I know how these lives go with 2 particular people. So most of Pastor Dion's comments had to be at the end. Pastor Dion gets excited, and then heaven drops down. Heaven drops down, and then he'd be like, the Lord said. Well, this is gonna be good. I'm super excited. So before they come, I want to explain why I want to do this. It was actually Titus that posted something, and it gave me an idea about where we think we are, but we may not necessarily be when it comes to creatives. And so I wanted to pull some people together I talk to often to share their thoughts about what creatives need to know coming in the year of 2022. Now, listen, they can't give it all away, but hopefully they push you enough to push yourself or to get in contact with them for what they do. Okay, so let's go. Start with Jared first.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Jared Michael. I am a graphic designer and creative director out of Alabama. I will be officially in graphic design for 3 years come December 20th of this month. I've worked with people as high on the totem pole as Vanessa Bell Armstrong, Google Atkins, and a few other celebrities and gospel royalty. So yeah, that's me. I enjoy branding people and branding businesses, and my favorite is definitely entertainment promotion and designing for entertainment promotion and entertainment collateral and all of that. So that is me. And you can follow me at Jared Michael Design Company on Facebook and Instagram.
You can go over Gabriel or Gabe.
I'm sorry, I'm reading these comments. Good evening, how y'all doing? If you find me drinking, this is Kool-Aid Pastors. I want y'all to think it's anything else. But no, my name is Gabriel Ty. I call myself Mr. Keep Pushing. I have a promotional company. I promote for a lot of major artists, independent artists. I also have a security company, also do production. Anything dealing with gospel you can think of, I've done it or I do it. So you can follow me on Instagram, Keep Pushing Promotions, or follow me on my Facebook page at Gabriel Ty.
Okay. Now the order, I'm gonna have Trayvon go, then Pastor Moles, then Pastor Jefferson.
Hello, everybody. My name is Trayvon Williams. I am a designer, a stylist, as well as a production major. So I put on productions, whether that be a fashion show, help with planning weddings, et cetera, et cetera. So you can follow me on all social media platforms. My business page is Anthony Rose Fashions and Productions, or for short, it's just Anthony Rose FP. Or if you're on any other platform, just look up Anthony Rose Fashions and Productions, and that's where you'll find me.
Pastor Moles?
Yes, Kenneth Moles. I pastor a storefront church here in Connecticut. Married with 4 kids. I legally have 4 children that are in college legally, and I operate and am the CEO for 5 companies, construction company, a development company, a daycare, and a credit repair company, and have about 43 people on salary, and was able to keep all that up and going throughout the pandemic.
Wow.
Oh, and I sang for with Tank, and I just
Hey, Pastor, I got a mic for you.
I just won the challenge. I beat Jason Nelson. I beat all of them. They're all their backup. It's just I'm taking over the R&B gospel side on a real low end.
Okay, Pastor Dion.
Well, I'm Pastor Dion Jefferson. Pastor Moles, you got Trayvon. He can style you, so you're gonna be good. You're gonna be really good. I'm Pastor Dion Jefferson. I have the privilege to pastor a church in McDonough, Georgia. I have 2 churches, one in McDonough, Georgia, and one in Barnesville, Georgia. And I work closely with real estate agents, marketing teams, and a lot of my work with them is some graphics, but a lot of them really want to know. It's almost somewhat a coaching. I work strongly with the staff in the county where I am, and I'm into music. We're still into music production and all of those different things. So I love what I do. I'm married. I've been married for 17 years to a beautiful lady named Tawanda. And I have 2 kids biologically, but I have a whole bunch of them that I stand in the gap for being a father. And I'm honored. So you can follow me on IG at Dion Jefferson. That's me.
All right. So let's hit it. First, shout out to Lady T, Pastor Jefferson's wife, who had an amazing concert last night, and she killed the room, and so it was amazing. Also to all the people who did the Can We Talk challenge, I was going to show some of my favorites tonight, so I'll tell you some of who my favorites were. First, what is Can We Talk? Tank, the R&B artist, who actually is a born-bred church kid. He did a Can We Talk? If you've been saved all your life, that is a song originally penned, originally recorded by Tevin Campbell in the early 90s. So he did a hashtag Can We Talk challenge, and everybody has tapped in. The whole thing just went viral in less than 48 hours. So I'm gonna tell you some of my favorites was Ike. Gospel singer Ike, he absolutely annihilated. Travis Malloy, Darwin Hobbs tuned in.
Kenneth.
Darwin Hobbs tuned in, he killed it. And then the overseer Kenneth Moles.
No, come on, don't do that. No, come on, don't do that.
It's under my throat.
I
thought I'd do mine on live.
Gave his, his talk rendition of the virtual challenge. So it has been really, really incredible. So I highly suggest that all you have to do is go to Instagram and type in hashtag Can We Talk challenge. For real, seriously, there's some really amazing people that you may or may not know, and they're just not, chocolate. They are from all over the world, and I've seen people from Canada. It's just been really, really incredible. So go check it out. It's really cool. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk about creatives and where things are headed and where things are going. I kind of don't know who to start first, but maybe let's start with, the person who pastors a storefront church, which that's not true. So, Pastor Kenneth Moles, what is your thoughts for creatives? That can be pastors. That can be you do a lot of things. What do you think?
My advice to creatives is condition yourself for poverty. You want to be able to manage functioning without resources. One of the most frustrating things about being a creative is trying to find a funder and financing for what's coming to your mind. I thoroughly believe that failure is the womb of success, and you will not find any creative that has any modicum of success that has not been able to manage through the lack of resources. One of the things that's most frustrating for most creatives is trying to get buy-in for things that don't exist. And by nature, creatives have things in our mind that we're trying to create, or images, or businesses, or ideas. Um, that we're trying that we've already conceptualized. For us, it's real and tangible, and for others, it's either frustrating, not realistic, or impossible to fund. And I'm 50 now, and Warren Buffett is my model. He is my he's my role model, and I'm saying that because at the age of 53 is when he says that he began to um, secure his wealth. And at 53 is when it worked out for him. And since the age of 53, he has obtained 92% of all of his wealth has been acquired after he turned 53. So that was very important for me to know and understand and to embrace, that one of the wealthiest men in the world, the man when the economy crashed, he actually gave the loan to Bank of America that kept them open. You know you're wealthy when you can bail a bank out and charge interest. So he is my role model as a businessman and an entrepreneur, to know that there is success after 50. And just imagine 93% of all of his wealth was accumulated after the age of 53. So I don't think it's necessarily true you have to wait that long. But I think it's important, especially as a creative, to kind of condition yourself to functioning um in with a lack or a deficit, and a great deal of your life will be there. And of course, once you're successful, then you're a genius and everyone buys in. But in closing, one of the things to know, two things is Bill Gates failed out of Yale, and the CEO and founder of FedEx failed out of Harvard. His senior thesis was his company, an overnight company that will be able to deliver postage overnight. And he failed out of Harvard MBA program as a creative because his professor told him it's illegal and the business that you're going into is kind of covered by the postal system. So you obviously didn't do your research. And of course, when he opened his company, he FedEx a copy of his check when his company went public to his professor that failed him out of Harvard.
Wow. Well, you go. So obviously, you have to find a way to press forward, to press through, to press on. That sounds a little churchy, but it's true, right? So most people may or may not know. Pastor Dion knows because Pastor Dion, him and his wife are, close to my heart. Disney is my favorite thing. Jared knows Disney is my favorite thing. I can live, breathe Disney every single day. I just really think God walked with Walt. That's just my personal opinion. But Disney was turned down several times in multiple areas, multiple times. They told him that his cartoons would never work. There was no way you're not a good cartoonist. Like, you should try something else. Then when he finally got past that, he's moving on. He's doing this. He tried to create Disney World. They said this will never work. No one will come. They turned him down. Banks turned him down several times. Every time he tried for a loan. When he opened the park, which most people may not know, it was horrible. They ran out of food. People said that it was the worst experience, but they came back. So what's my point? When you're doing something people have never done, a lot of people are going to challenge you. They're going to tell you it's not going to work. This is impossible. There's no way that anybody is going to believe you. People going to come. No one's going to buy your book. No one's going to come to your church. No one's going to use your promotion company. So you have to find a way to close out the people who don't matter and encase yourself in the people who do. That's my thought from Pastor Mose. Gabe, your thoughts.
Good evening, everyone. The pastors. Man, that's a lot. Basically, go back to what you talked about earlier. We talked about on the phone earlier about my post. I made a post. I don't know if you saw it or not. What was the post about? You don't need a manager for this, for the artists or even pastors. This is me, because I work with a lot of artists, musicians, the whole 9 yards. If you are married or have a girlfriend, you can take a phone call, email. You don't need a manager. You're actually paying more money out to that manager than you are keeping in. Ask me, I know, I'm a road manager. My artist actually needs me, but if he knew how to do it himself, he would actually bring more money home. Even I think Pastor Mose, when you're going out, I'm sure you have somebody that actually does your calendar for you. But if they didn't do it for you, you may be lost. Or if you did it yourself, you keep more money in house. So
I be my booking, yeah.
Yes, sir. So
on my own book, I got that from Vicky Winans.
See, there it is. So the money that you might have been spending, let's say $1,000 a month type deal. That money is actually in your pocket right now. A lot of artists that I deal with, they want to be on the main stage with Kurt, Donnie, but you haven't labored. You don't need to have a home church. One thing I believe in, my pastor is Jason Nelson. I actually am under Elder Mark Moore, but I believe in home first. That's why, honestly, I've been blessed. My wife had COVID this year. We actually got a new house this year, all in the pandemic. Actually, we have a 6-bedroom house. So all this happened only because I was under the right leadership. And when I moved, I still stay connected to my leader. A lot of artists, musicians, whoever you are, do not have that. And I believe that's the first foundation to anything going into the new year. Find your leader that actually believes in you. My pastor can text me right now and say, Gabe, no, you're wrong. Take it like a man. Okay, what's next? Type deal. So that's my little tidbit for the night, for right now anyway.
So I want to tackle into something he said, because that can be, I think it's important to know where you are right now, because I'll just use myself. Someone will say, "Oh, Yolanda, you don't have a manager?" Well, no, I can manage. It's a lot to manage, but I can manage it right now. I can manage singing with Kevin. I don't need a manager. He tells me what to do. So right. I don't need a manager to say, well, these are your dates with Kevin. I don't need them. I mean, man, these are your dates with church. I think it's really important to know at what point you need more. At what point do you need to add other people to that space? Because as he said, you can be spending out a lot of money paying someone who may not be giving you what you need at this moment. It's dangerous, actually, to get on a stage that you're not prepared for.
Right. And
so you can find your stuff on massive stages, but you're not ready to give what that stage needs. So something else me and Gay talked to other, and then I'm gonna shift to Jared. Something else me and Gay said earlier, I do want to make sure that I don't forget, is it's the labor part. So it's really important that people, that the term people see you giving, people need to see you support.
All right.
So sometimes it doesn't harm you. If it's in your to-do, go to someone else's event. People will appreciate, as my friend Cedric says, your labor of love. You don't always have to be on the bill. Sometimes just show up and be in the audience. That sometimes alone will get you the handshakes. It will get you the, hey, didn't I see you? It will get you the connections. It will get you the relationships. So sometimes what people miss in a lot of these circles, be it graphics, be it real estate, is the relationships. You need in this economy and what's going on right now, relationships is the currency. And relationships open doors. And relationships get you contracts. And relationships get you, hey, Yolanda, this space is open. We have to fill it, or we don't have a space. Can you fill it? Relationships do that. Not necessarily money, and not necessarily always your gift. So just want to be sure to remind you, don't miss out on the opportunities because you feel like, oh, they should have called me and they should have asked me to come. If you know what's going on, I've been to Stellars, as Trayvon can tell you, because he's, we've done made it work. We went to Stellars many times, and I wasn't singing. I sold into his business, or he sold into me, and we got dressed up, and we got the clothes, and we made the dresses, and we just went. And he will tell you, we have made many connections by just showing our labor of love, just being in the building, just being present. My name was not called. I was standing long before I was singing with Kevin. I was sitting in the audience with everybody else at the choir fest. So, it's just good to know you need the relationships in order to have long-standing success or have longevity. Okay? My thoughts.
Let me add this.
Yes.
You know, when I first started promoting anything, people that I looked up to told me no. Honestly, they told me, we don't need you. We have enough people doing what you're doing. To this day, they try to contact me for help. And I actually, I turn it down, but I tell them why I turn it down. And what you're talking about, support people, I used to ride the Greyhound, Megabus to different gigs, not getting paid. I'm spending my own money just to be in the room. That's it. Not to play the drums. I'm a musician too. Not to promote anybody, not to do security, just to be in the room. I know if I be in the room, I can do the rest. God can do the rest, the whole 9 yards. So, I've done that. Like Megabus, $10 a round trip, wherever you're going, Greyhound, $50. So there's nothing wrong with Spirit, even flying Spirit. I've done that. Lord, I hate Spirit, but I've flown Spirit to different events to support someone, because when I have someone, I want people to support me like this. So, like you said, support goes a long, long way. For myself and me.
A long, long way. So can I switch, Jared? Is that okay? So when he said that, something triggered. This is just how my brain works. So something triggered. I want to switch to Trayvon, because when I said the Stellars, I thought about something. And so me and Trayvon have been working together for a little while now. And I remember when he started styling me, I know most people, because I'm so nice, I was very resistant, because I had never really embraced being a curvy girl. And so I struggled real bad, and people didn't know. And he really helped me through that process. And something Gabriel said made me think, it's really important how you show up too. And people kind of get this confused sometimes. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, about all of what you wear, but how you present yourself definitely makes the difference. So Trayvon, however you want to talk.
So one of the points that I want to touch on, especially just through this pandemic, is just making sure you don't give up. A lot of people, we get to a certain point, and we feel like things aren't working, or we feel like, we've labored, or we've put in, the work. And then we get to a point where we just don't know, or we begin to question whether or not this is something that we're supposed to be doing. And what I will say to you is, in that moment, keep going. Keep going, because you never know what you're on the brink of. And I'll just give a little bit of my story, and Yolanda knows. About 2 years ago, I was really at that point. I was like, I don't want to do this no more. This ain't working. I'm shoving out money, and it doesn't feel like I'm getting a return. A lot of stuff I was doing pro bono, like I'm going and I'm styling people, or I'm making clothes for people, and it just seemed like it wasn't working. But I will say, And I thank God through this pandemic, He has actually increased my workload on the creative end and on, and this my entrepreneurship to where I have now been able to lessen my time at my 9 to 5. And listen, I'm a firm believer that it is okay to still work a 9 to 5 while you're in your journey of getting to where you need to go. And also just make sure, that 9 to 5, also let it make sense. I work for American Airlines on top of what I do. So it affords me the opportunity to be able to travel and go to different places and stuff that's needed to continue my passion and continue my work. So like I said, just don't give up. If you feel like you're on the brink of giving up, connect with somebody, talk to your pastor, talk to, and even talk to your clients, because one thing I can appreciate about, me and Yolanda's relationship is outside of our working relationship, I can call her and she can call me and we can have a conversation about just about anything. And if, I'm having a bad day or she's having a bad day, we can talk and just get each other over that hump. So when we talk about relationships, yes, relationships are important because it's not only going to, you don't always have to just have that work relationship, but just having somebody else in your corner outside of what it is that you're doing is important. So like I said, don't give up. And like I said, I piggyback off of the relationship aspect because you do need somebody. Everybody needs somebody. So yeah, that's my little tidbit.
Jared?
I think my biggest thing is, and I challenge those in my field. There's a few things that I see, a few trends that I see on the business aspect more so than the artistic aspect of it. One of them is just hustle hard. Like I know for me and you, we always talk about, we neglect so many things about around the house and stuff just to make sure, we get our retainer clients taken care of week to week. And I'm sure like we're not the only one. I think any entrepreneur is neglecting, washing the dishes or scheduling a doctor's appointment to make sure that we, get the money, to pay for those things, and constantly doing all of that. I definitely challenge people to take more time to take care of ourselves mentally. That I think is one of the biggest things that I challenge any creative, any entrepreneur for 2022 is to take care of ourselves more than we take care of others. We cannot pour from an empty cup. So I definitely think that right there is something that I challenge everybody to do. Another thing is definitely working on our business sense. A lot of us, and it's so funny, I remember in high school, our English teacher would always tell us, I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. So if I'm probably gonna mess up if you tell me to do a math problem. And that's the same thing when it comes to like doing us being graphic designers. We may be an amazing graphic designer and we may lack business sense. So definitely work on that business sense. All of us are not gifted all the way around when it comes to art, when it comes to business, when it comes to how to properly talk to clients, because there are definitely some days that we want to square up out in the streets with some of these clients. But like we've got to work on that aspect of it. Another thing is I can't speak for me in this aspect because I went to 4-year design school, and a lot of people ask me, how do you know this? Where did you get this from? And it's just by knowing the fundamentals that I'm able to adapt. So I think a lot of people, they download the software, they study this, they take this person's class, they do all of this, but they lack the fundamentals. And that to me has definitely set a lot of people apart, because some people can make good things, but it fundamentally doesn't make sense. And I think that people should definitely go back and study the fundamentals of design and aspects and ratios and the math aspect of it, and seeing what works. Being money smart, like somebody had just stated, figuring out what makes us more money or quick money, that we're not solely dependent on getting 50 flyers a week and working ourselves to the bone. And doing all of those things is, can we offer a specific service that is making us money while we're asleep? Definitely allowing ourselves to work less and make more. I think that is a huge thing. Another thing is, I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but is exercising your design muscle. Is definitely working towards always doing something new. I know a lot of times people come to me with a flyer they saw from somebody else and it's like, hey, could you replicate this? And I'm like, no, like, it's not the same event. Even if it is the same event, people are going to look at it as the same. So we should definitely work towards creating something new. And another thing is allowing creatives to create. The analogy me and you always joke is I never, ever walk into my barbershop telling my barber, hey, could you put a 1 guard right here and a 2 guard right here? And doing this. The same thing with my pastor. I don't tell my pastor how to organize his sermon, and I don't tell, the gardener how to grow my food. So, why do we do that to other creatives? Yes, we know what we like, but at the same time, let creators create. That is how you get the best possible product, when you let the creator create. So I think that's what I challenge clients to do. And I also challenge creatives to not only challenge your clients to allow you to create, but build that trust with them to where they can totally trust you enough to give them the best thing they deserve. And I think one of the things with me is a lot of times I'll show them what they asked for, and I'll show them what I think it should be. And a lot of times when I do that, they end up going with mine. So, but every now and then you have those clients who you wasted your time and they still want what they want. But that right there is my biggest thing. And lastly, I think the biggest thing is marketing yourself to where you want to go. If you look like $5, you'll never make $1 million. Like you have to market yourself where you want to go. If you want to make big dollars, you have to look like big dollars. You have to invest in yourself. You have to take those courses. You have to get professional photos. You have to actually look decent in those photos. You have to have the websites and updated social media and interact in the timely fashion, all of that. And the biggest thing is praying for inspiration and praying for yourself, taking care of yourself mentally, taking care of all of that. And I definitely think that is what I want to see more of before we see anything bigger in the art of anything, is taking care of ourselves more so where we can give more and be better. So.
Oh, Jared, that was good. So one thing you said, I definitely want to encourage. If you are I'm going to say this more in the Christian aspect. If you pastor a creative, you have to let them stretch.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to say this from a creative standpoint. It's really hard to be somewhere where you feel like you're suffocating.
Absolutely.
It is very, very difficult. And so what happens a lot of times is they want to serve, they want to give, they want to be there, but they feel like they're suffocating. And sometimes, I'm not necessarily blaming pastors at all. Sometimes you don't know what to do with them, because they sometimes creatives seem like they're all over the place.
Yep. We are.
And so my pastor told me one time, I said, Pastor, I want to, God bless my pastor Show. I said, yeah, I'm singing, and somebody told me I'm supposed to be a preacher. Don't do it, Pastor Dion. So somebody said I'm supposed to do this, and then I'm supposed to that. I'm supposed to, I want to do a t-shirt. He said, oh my God. He said, girl. And I'm gonna be honest. When he first told me to do this, I was like, I was a teeny offended. He said, it's too much. It's too much at one time. When he gave me an assignment, it took me a while. He said, if you have an empty wall in your house, I want you to make your wall a vision board. Every idea you have, you need to get it out. Now, this is the cool thing. He never said I was wrong in the things I was saying. He just said my mind was so full of things that I want to do, things I want to try. I get ideas. I mean, me and Jared talk every day. I get ideas every day. Yep. I got an idea when I was sitting at the restaurant. I got an idea when I was listening to Vincent Bohanna's new song. It just happens.
Yeah.
So
You wake up in the middle of the night because the idea.
You wake up in the middle of the night. You're watching a Popeyes commercial. I promise you, it happens all the time. But if you have a creative in your space, if you have a creative in your church, if you parent a creative, you have to find a way to allow them to stretch. My mother just told me I used to draw on the walls. I'm thinking all kids draw on the walls, don't they? She said, no, it was just something different. You drew on the walls all the time. I never noticed your penmanship, which we don't hear a lot of anymore, was really nice. And I never really recognized. She didn't know. People didn't talk about it then. So I want to move. But I just want to, if you're a pastor, if you're a leader, CEO, if it's not, not just church, but in the marketplace, and you got creatives and you just can't figure it out, sit down, have a conversation with them, because they probably have a million ideas. They're trying to figure out how to process it. And the other party's creatives, you're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have a lot of information that you're trying to figure how to get it out. So I think about that. I feel like one person I want to bring up, I feel like, I need to shift to Pastor Dion. I feel like Pastor Moles needs to comment on that part right there, because he pastors tons of creatives, tons of kids. And then I'm going to go on to Pastor Dion.
I think one of the things that I've learned, and it's really helped me out, and I deal with this with the creatives that are in my church and my ministry, is managing the gift and the responsibility of being a creative. And one of the things I focus on, and I tell everyone this, especially creatives, what is your anchor? Like, what can you do that you love to do and you would do it for free and you're great at it? John Maxwell teaches the law of 10, and basically says everyone in their life functions on a scale 1 to 10. The majority of the world or individuals are a 5, and most amazing people are usually around a 7. But creatives and leaders are usually on a scale of 10. We're somewhere around an 8, 7. We start there, and we're that level without any level of discipline. What puts us over the top is mastering the 2 points, which usually is to what the other was just talking about: self-discipline and working on oneself. Or what I teach my creatives, people say, "Oh, I'm working on my weakness." That's the worst thing you can ever do. The greatest thing you can do as a creative is put your energy in your strength. And to give you my example, for me, it's preaching. I get paid to talk. And I tell individuals, everything else I do, I 80% of my energy is focused in the area as a creative that I can do without a lot of extra help from anyone. And that's one of the dangerous things about being a creative. We're able to see so many different things and be successful and get into so many areas that we walk away from our strength. And a perfect example of this would be someone like a LeBron James. Everything that he is able to do and all of the money that he's able to make right now is because of basketball. And when you start telling people, my focus is I want to be a movie producer. My focus is, I'm looking to create a new clothing line. Like, no, you have to know what your strength is. Where do you function best? Put your energy there. And from that energy, let the multiple streams of income and creativity function in those areas. But I am from I'm from the school of master one thing. Being the jack of all trades is a dangerous thing as a creative. The most successful thing you can do as a creative is find out what you do better than everyone else and never allow anyone to talk you out of what you're good at. And take your energy, take your time, and discipline yourself and create discipline to grow yourself in the area of your strength. And I think that's one of the things that's most frustrating in church, because people feel that they're gifted or anointed for something, but they lack the discipline to become great at it. Whenever you're average with a gift as a creative, someone will replicate you and take your spot. So I'm really big on stewardship, and manage what I call managing talents. I'll close on that. You know, God only asks you for a return of what he gives you, and we're all not equal. So you're either a 5, a 3, or a 1. So I tell everybody in my church, you're a 5, 3, or 1, period. And God is only concerned about a return. And for my creatives, my challenge and my advice to you is make sure you can replicate whatever God gave you, double it. As long as you double it, he'll give you more. But that's kind of one of the most dangerous things about being a creative, is the plurality of our skill set. Functioning in too many streams, as opposed to mastering one, and your gift, not gifts plural, will make room for you. Use that one gift. I'm close on this, I mean it. Bishop Walker just received a check for $2 million from New York for building low income housing. How did he get that check? The album I'll Make It. He's a singer. He's a gospel artist. The minute you walk away from your strength, you'll never be able to walk in the plurality of your creativity or existence. Master one, be great at it, and let the others eat off the others later.
Ooh. Wow. Amen. Wow. Just amazing. So we just had Pastor the Mickey King tap in. I'm going to go to Pastor Dion, and then I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to go to Pastor Dion. I'm going to come to Mickey King, and she is going to introduce herself, and then she's going to give her thoughts about creatives in the sense of life. I think the way she tells people to work their life is incredible. So Pastor Dion.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say Bishop Mose set a lot of people free about the age range. I know I can see some people in the comments say it's not too late for me. So great for the people in the comments and just not just not being extra. But that man, I've watched him from afar for years, and I watched his ministry, and so there's a lot of things I've gleaned from his ministry, his lives, his experiences that has altered my decisions on different things I've done concerning ministry. And I think that every creative pastor, graphic designer, clothing, all need people that they can look up to. We have a lot of people that we're horizontal with, but there are some people that we need to be vertical with, meaning that there's an area of his life, there's an area of experience that me as a young pastor still trying to navigate. So I need to go vertical. There's some friends that I'm with right now that we are horizontal. I can glean, we talk, but there are some people I've already been here. So what it is, you step up to where I'm going, because I'm gonna keep on reaching. And if you lose your area of reaching, you get to a place that you become stagnant. If you lose your area of reaching, you become average, and average always get looked over. And so I think a lot of creatives have to come to a place where they understand that the great side of me is I have to become a problem solver, because if I'm not solving a problem, that means either I'm creating one or I'm in the midst of one. And so Dr. Ari Vernon always say, he said this, he said, if everything is important, nothing is important. So if I'm giving myself to everything, I'm trying to be everything to everybody. I'm trying to get all of those different things in my hand and trying to make them create. And so much, I mean, it's almost like the little boy that's putting his hand in the jar at the store. You put your hand in the jar, get all the candy. Well, some of the candy that you reach for is candy that you was not looking. It may not be your liking, but if I'm specific on what I really want, I'm gonna hum in and say, hey, this is the candy that I want. And after I receive it, I'm going to enjoy it because now it was something that I was directly for. So I want to challenge every creative to do something. I'm gonna share a little bit about me. What happened for my life? I had a graphic designer that was a part of our church, and opportunity came up. She was able to go to another place and do graphics. So I'm like, wait a minute, it cannot drop. So what I did was I began to indulge in graphics. Didn't know that there was a creative side of me outside of preaching, outside of drumming. Gabe, I see you, man, you're a drummer. Outside of drumming, that was because that's been my area. Everyone that's around me knows that Dion is known for drumming, but they didn't know that the creative side of me from with a whole lot of things, that was the thing for my life. So what happened is this, I began to do a little bit of graphics and someone got turned on to the graphics, but the graphics walked me into a room. When I got in the room, my gift kept me in there. What I mean by that, my gift and my character kept me in there. Because, for example, on Mondays, some Mondays and some Fridays, I'm dealing with real estate, with realtors. And what they want to know, what is the Lord saying concerning our life? They're reaching out to everybody. They're seeing about everybody, but the giftings of my life is telling them what the Lord is saying concerning their lives. And creatives, I know for me, a lot of creatives, you have movies, you create movies in your head before anyone see them. So a lot of us, we see, so while people are talking, that matter of fact, while I'm talking right now, there are some creators right now that are working on some things, they're pondering over something, and they see a whole movie before they even talk about it. Because that's who we are. And so it's possible that you have a prophetic side of you, that God begin to enhance what you see. And sometimes, because we have and I'm a pastor, Bishop Mose, some of us on here, and we say the Lord told us. But for a lot of us, the Lord show us. The Lord show us, and then we create what he showed. I don't want you to get to a place that you get frustrated because you're interpreting what you see, and some people get they get kind of frustrated because now the process seems not in the time limit of everyone else. So creators make movies, you make graphics, you make banners, you make salons, you do all of this in your head first. God began to deal with you with this before anyone is able to see it, because now I'm getting to a place where I'm strong in a thing and I become a problem solver. So me having my gift caused me to be a problem solver. So that's why the new mayor of our city came and began to speak at my church. Honestly, that's the reason that she ran for office, is because my gift showed up and it allowed her to come into a place where she said, I'm not wrestling with that anymore, because now the gifts showed up. So whatever gifting you have, you got to allow that gift to stand up. But I don't want you to abandon what you have in the other hand. So let me explain. A lot of times as a pastor, for me, for the last about 7 years, I only did pastoring. I forgot about music. I forgot about production. I forgot about coaching. I forgot about speaking. I forgot about all this other stuff that I was doing with this hand. So the only thing I was focusing on is pastoring, planning, doing all of these things. And I forgot that God has another stream for me that I'm losing from over here because I've gotten so focused on here. Now I got to get to the place where I'm trying to maximize this and master this, but there are some things I've already mastered with this hand. So since I've already mastered that with this hand, God said what I want you to do is collide the two and live off both. I want you to live off both, because if I don't pay attention to one is going to die. One is going to die and it will become average again. Especially if anybody know, if you're doing anything, if you're playing drums, if you don't play drums long enough, after a while your chops get sloppy. If you're playing keys and you don't practice enough, some things, some scales that you had, you don't have that no more. It'll begin to dissipate because you're not paying attention to it. There are some giftings inside of you with this hand, meaning this hand was sent for the world. It was hit for God. Pushed this. He placed this inside of you before you even knew who your call was. But there's a lot of us, we embraced our calling and forgot the talents and the giftings that God calls us to eat from. So what I would challenge us tonight is, creatives in 2022, use both hands. Pick up the area of your life that you pushed aside. Get them ears back together. If you was in a room, and matter of fact, how I met my wife was, I met my wife because a producer said, "Hey, D, I need your ears in a room. I'm mixing something and I need your ears." And when I go in the room, here goes this beautiful lady sitting in this room, and now we begin to meet. But I would have never met her that way if my gift didn't allow me to come in the room. But before I would even before I knew that I was a preacher, even before all of that, this right here, playing and in my ears, allowed me to come in the room. So what I'm working on right now in my life, and I want to challenge others to work on this, is make sure you maximize on the important thing now. Because if everything is important, nothing is important. If we're throwing everything to what I'm saying, if we're gonna throw all of our skill level and everything to everything, there are some different things you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss the people that are directed to your life. I always say this: you are a moment that other moments are waiting for. So if you forget who you are, and if you don't show up, there are some people will never become because you failed to show up. You are a moment that other moments are waiting for. I'm done.
Pastor King.
Oh, for me to come behind that. Thank you, yo. Thank you, yo. All of the gentlemen, I want to apologize also to Yolanda. I'm in another time zone traveling, so I got my times mixed up. But I am absolutely confident that the men of God have blazed this trail, and I'm sure everybody's got these nuggets. I'm just going to give you a few of the things that the Lord has been dealing with me for. My way of becoming a creative was not set. I thought I was just going to be a fabulous wife for the rest of my life. I was just going to be an amazing wife the rest of my days and back my husband and preach my little engagements, and that was going to be it. But God saw something differently when he took him home. So I've just here recently just been really laboring before God, yo. And of course, I love you and everything that you're doing,
They don't know who you are, though. You got to tell them who you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Mickey King. I'm Mickey King from St. Louis of the Work Your Life whole mission. I have my motto is that I'm going to pull out of your life what you got stuck in your mouth. I don't believe that people should keep talking about what they going to do, and they should go ahead and do it. So that's my whole rhythm. I'm going to pull it out of your life. So for some of you all that know, my husband passed the day before my 50th birthday, which threw me in a complete whole big thing. And Yolanda, of course, was there being amazing. But one of the things that the Lord has here recently been dealing with me on is about time. And I was listening to the pastor that was right before this and just listening to what he was talking about and just staying eagle-eyed focused on the thing that's important for you to know what it is that you do well, because what you do well, nobody else does it. That's why it's your lane. For you to really focus on what it is. And so one of the things that the Holy Spirit said to me about 6 months ago, and I want to share this with other people, especially going into the next year, the things that you are spending time on may not be the things that you were given time for. And that is huge to look at, because sometimes when we got a lot of movement, we're not looking at, are we doing anything that is merging with the mission that God gave? So one of those things that I just keep looking at myself saying, am I spending time on the things that the Lord had given me to do? Not anybody else, but has I been spending time on the thing that the Lord gave to me? So when I look at that and I look at how everything happened, I look at how in Isaiah 6:1, when it said, the year that the king died, I saw. The year that the king died, I saw. And as I said to y'all, I had absolutely no intention on my life being the way that it was, but I'm talking about how things can pull out of you what's on the inside of you for the time that you're in. Because I believe this, I believe you are only exposed to the problems that you are the answer for. And so God places you at a place, and oftentimes when we don't get that, we find ourselves offended and fussing about things that we are the answer for that. So when I look at how my life is, and it's just like what Pastor Dion just said, I like rolled into this because here I am now, a single woman, and I'm a single woman that have no intention on being broke. I have no intention. I don't have a relationship with poverty. We don't. It makes me look bad. I tell God that all the time. That's gonna make me look bad if you have me out here like that. So at that time, I started looking at the things that I have always been gifted in, and that's what we don't look at. And I'll just give you guys this little bitty piece, and I mean I'm going to be done, and I'm gonna sit here and gleam off of all y'all brilliance. But you all know my Work Your Life mission is about the whole, I got that from the whole story of when the prophet goes to the widow's house and he asked her to bake him a cake. Well, this is one thing that we've got to know at all times, that God never asks us for anything that we don't have. So when he showed up, even though you don't have it in your hand and you're like, God, where am I gonna get that from? He only asks you for the things he's equipped you for. So he doesn't ask you for that, because that would be him tormenting you to do and to provide something that you don't have. So he knew that she had it, even though she didn't know it. So the prophet asked her this thing. He said, bake me a cake. She said exactly. She says, I have nothing, no thing. I have no thing except a cruise of oil, a little meal, and these sticks. Now, if you read in the Bible, how they made cakes was with the sticks, a cruise of oil, and some meal. But because she didn't have it whole, she thought she didn't have it at all. And sometimes we don't realize that when we don't have the thing in whole, that we still got the pieces. The pieces come so that you can work your life. And now you look back at why you had to work with that particular boss, and why you had to go to that particular school for that certification, and why you had to do this, because all of the pieces that you have is to bring it together so that you can have the cake. But God didn't already knew you have the cake. So I would say this, it was after my husband passed that I was able to see all of the things that I have. And like now, I believe in the word when it says to have 7, yea, 8 streams of income open. So I look at that every day, and every day of my life, I make money. Every day of my living, I make money. Why? Because I was pushed into creativity. Now, here's the thing. I was pushed into what was already in me. It was already in me. And so a lot of people that are out there that you're trying to hide behind people, this is what I believe that the mantle is for 2022. I believe that the reason why we had this time alone, and I believe it was Pastor Kenneth that was talking about how it was, or if it wasn't him, I apologize for who it was, but we had this time alone to perfect ourselves for the great collaboration. And I'm quite sure somebody's already said that. It's our time now to come together. Well, we know what God has said. God says that I'm going to give you the fivefold ministry until we all come into the unity of the faith. Well, unity is not something that God has closed his eyes on. He still wants us to unify. Well, where's the power? The power in natural is us coming together. This great collaboration is going to come by way of how great I am and how great you are together. Global impacts only happen by individual commitments. So the impact that I'm looking to give is going to come by how much work I'm willing to commit to, so that when I come to the table with you, you don't have to worry about my part. So I'm coming to the table with more than conversation. I'm coming to the table with more than a check. I'm coming to the table with my impact to this. So every creative that's out there that's trying to hide behind people still, trying to cheer people on still, I'm going to leave you guys with this, because this is what I preach all the time when I go on the road. I try to tell people, you can try to stay a choir director if you want to. You can try to stay a musician if you want to. But if God has called you to the prophet, If God has called you to pastor and you are getting your behind whooped on the level that you really are, not what you hide behind, you can keep saying, well, I ain't really that. Oh, you is. Really that. And that's where you are getting the battle at. And so most times people don't want to step up to the call of where it is that God has really called them. And I'm just saying, for creative, it's always going to be a weird space for you. It's not for you to fit in. You got to just get used to that. You have to now find, and I leave you with this. I tell people all the time, is the reason why you need to come into your truth is because your truth is the only thing that introduces you to your tribe. As long as you're falsifying things, go ahead and be who you are so that you can find your people and stop trying to fit into the people that will never receive you. People never receive things that they don't understand. They don't have nothing in them to be able to do that. So walk into your truth so that you can find your tribe, because there's some people out there that's waiting to collaborate with your amazing self, with your fabulous self. So as the pastors have already said, take this time to really go within and to master self, so that when you come to the table with whoever it is, and this is what I love this so much about being, I was a flight attendant for 6 years. And I met some of the most amazing people, but what it did, it opened my mind up globally, that there is absolutely no location that can cause me to digress from the mission that I've been called to. So if it doesn't work or whatever in one place, there are a billion people that's waiting to meet you. And you got to know that you don't know who you don't know until you meet them. But trust me that there's some people that are waiting to meet you. So by the time you meet them, you need to be on top of your game. I'm going to quote the same thing that Bishop John Hanna said. By the time you hit the stage, that's too late for your LLC. By the time you hit the stage, that's too late, because by the time your name is out there, everybody calling you. It's too late then to go get your letterhead. It's too late for all of that. So take this time now to get all of your stuff together so that you'll have those 30-second elevator conversations, all of that sharp stuff that you need to do now. So I'm telling you, so that when 2022 comes around, if that's the hour that you're supposed to meet your great collaborative people, you'll be ready for it. You'll be ready for it.
Wow, Mickey King. So when Pastor King was talking, I thought about something. So Pastor Dion says something that is true. Creators have movies in their head. So I just want to fair warn you. If I'm at church, I'm at the restaurant, I tap out. It's not that nothing's wrong. It's just the movie started playing in my head. I see graphics. I click on the Pastor Mose. He's doing what's just really cool. I'm gonna, plug him in this way. It's really cool. So he does Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning he has Sunday school, but it's really like financial school, and it's really, really cool. And you should tap in and then go to your church. Okay, so it's really cool. I say that to say, while he's talking, right, it's just normal. I know now that it's normal for me, that while he's talking, I'm like, oh. And then I'll text him, or I text, the lovely Miss Yvonne, who works with him at the church. Did he ever think about doing that? That's just how it works. Just for me, that's how it works. So I said that saw a Instagram of somebody that I know that is a phenomenal singer. And they have long since stepped away from gospel music or church, all those parts. Someone came to fix something at their house, and they asked them to sing a gospel song, right? And I thought this is very interesting. And the thought came to my mind of something I posted that Mickey King kind of brought back to mind. You can run as long as you want to, but whoever God stamped you to be, that's who you are. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is just the reality. And so I know sometimes people run away from who they are. I don't want to be, I don't want to do graphics, or I don't want to be a singer, or, maybe for Gabriel, I don't want to promote people's events. And then someone walks up to you and says, hey, do you know about this event happening? You're like, how? Because whoever you are stamped to be, that's who you are from the time God created you in your mother's womb. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm in the car. Sometimes I'm in the grocery store and someone will walk up to me and say, "Do you sing?" I didn't even open my how, because whoever you are, that's who you're stamped to be. That's just my personal revelation about it, So something else Pastor King said that I want to tap in, and then I'm gonna go this way, right? So the opposite way from Jared all the way down. Don't wait. You need to be prepared in advance. And I remember having the first time going to Elevation Church, a stupid, crazy, phenomenal experience. And my friend introduced me to the youth pastor, which I didn't even know he knew. And the man asked me for my business card. Well, I'm all girl. So I had a Galasso bag, and my business card was way down in the bottom of my bag. Right. And so I am digging like I'm digging for gold in the bottom of my bag. And I was so embarrassed. And I remember I said, you know what? I will never do it again. I specifically bought something that I thought every time I locate it, I'm gonna find it. I know where it's at. And I stuffed my business cards in it. And I can't tell you how many times I've been out, whether it's the grocery store. I was in St. Louis with the St. Louis fam, and we're at the restaurant, and we start talking, and the man says, "Do you have a business card?" And I thought, "Sure do." You never know when your name is going to be called, so you can't assume that this is not going to happen for me, and no one's thinking about me. I totally agree with Pastor King. You need to be prepared at all times. Don't wait until you get the big stage to do the big thing. Sometimes I thought about this today. We wait for big things. Like why am I waiting till I get married to wear the pretty headpiece? Why am I waiting for that? Like, just go ahead and do it. Why are you waiting until this magical moment to do something you've always wanted to do? We've obviously learned that life is not promised forever. And so while I hope that all of us live a really, really long time, the reality is life is short and it's precious. And you shouldn't wait until you get this magical moment to say, "Oh, I'm going to wait till I got all my dollars, and then I'm going to advertise with Gabe." He texted me later. He said, "Just send me what you got." And I had to remind myself, just let's roll. All right. So that's my plug. I want to encourage you. Don't wait for a magical moment. Go ahead and do what you need to do. All right, Pastor Moose.
Yeah. So you said me?
Yeah, because you unmuted yourself.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, my bad. Yeah. So no, that was huge, because I just wanted to say to all creatives, the first call is the call to preparation, and that's one of the things I do not like about this new generation. They have a calling on their life, and they go to that calling, not understanding like no. The call that you received is for you to prepare. So I always teach my creatives, and this is what I learned from Moses is, drop the rod in the wilderness. See, it's a dangerous thing to master your gift in front of Pharaoh. You want to know how your gift works in private. So sanctification is really a time to practice. And most people view holiness as a lifestyle and what you wear. But the reality is, for creatives, sanctification is about isolating yourself to master your gift, so that you can function when your season comes. And one of the greatest examples of that is David. When he again shows up on the scene as the lunch boy, not a warrior, not a fighter, none of that. Was just anointed to be king by the prophet, but yet when his father sends him to bring lunches, when he arrives on the scene and hears, all of this foolishness, he says, "Who's this uncircumcised Philistine talking crazy about our God?" Notice what he says. He does not fight Goliath. He asks, "What is the reward?" Because most creatives don't know the value of their gift. So they use it everywhere, and they use it too often. Whereas David, being the creative that he was, and yet being anointed to be the next king, he knew, I can't just throw my gift and use my gift everywhere. And he asked the question, what is the reward for the person that is able to destroy or kill his Goliath. Notice, at no point does he question his skill set or his ability to get the victory. He wants to know what is a reward. So that becomes what I suggest to all creators. One, the first call to call preparation. Number two, understand that your gift is meant to bring you to your destiny. And you have to know about destiny moments because they don't come again. And people, oh, I missed my season, I'll get another season. Like, no, you don't get two seasons. You know, when the opportunity comes, if you're not prepared for it, you'll lose it. And it is at that moment when he finds out, oh, the reward is, that you live debt free, you become the king, you get the king's daughter. He said, oh, this is my divine moment. What are you talking about? If I kill Goliath, that connects to the prophecy that's in my life. How can I possibly be the next king unless I'm a prince? Well, it starts off first with me getting in the family. So he immediately is able to function and destroy Goliath, notice here, because he was prepared. How was he prepared? In the wilderness, while I was a shepherd boy, I killed a lion and a bear. Most creatives are not successful because they never mastered their gift in private. So when opportunities come, or when this God moment shows up, when they're not prepared, they create excuses and frustration. And there's nothing worse than meeting a creative that missed their season. Nothing worse, because they discourage everything and anyone else that reaches. Or you become like Saul to a David. You begin to be angry because you see your replacement coming. And for many of you, even that are on this broadcast now, as creatives, you've experienced this, where individuals that you're meant to replace try to destroy your character, destroy your name, throwing javelins at you, because the reality is they can see the favor on David. Just like Saul. He saw the favor on David and knew that, oh, this is dangerous. I'm about to lose my position. And the reality is it's because he was prepared. When his moment came, his gift was not just making room for him, it was ready to be used. And he said, oh, no. I killed a lion and a bear, and most creatives, and I'll close on this, you need to have a resume. You should be able to let people know way before your Goliath comes, I've already gotten victory. I have a mastery with this sling and a stone. I don't need your armor. I don't need your sword. I'm effective at what I have. And that's what makes creative so amazing. We function with less, but we get greater victory. But that only comes when you practice in the wilderness.
Practice in private. So Pastor says something, and I'm gonna jump to Gabe. I think he said something. I want to remind you. So we talk a lot of spiritual. So the Bible talks about first natural and spiritual. So let's talk about these components. Social media. A lot of times when I'm looking for people. So again, you never know who people are, and you never know who you're gonna meet. I just happened to be in an Uber car, and I met the man who did the copyrights for NASCAR. He was a 60-year-old man. And not only did he do it for NASCAR, he had also done it for a very large music label. You never know who you're going to meet, so you can't never assume. So this is why how people see you, your digital card really, really matters. And so if I go to your Facebook because I saw you somewhere singing and I really enjoyed you, and Pastor Dion is having an event at his church, and I'm like, oh, Pastor Dion, you got to go check this out. And I get there and there's nothing about anything that you do at all. None of your social media content works. Your website is expired. We go there, the Instagram, Jared's laughing, but we see this all the time, like every single day. It just happened. I don't remember the person's name. And I just remember like, wow, they like whatever it was. I think it was like, somebody singing. And I went to the information was on the left side of their Facebook. I clicked on their link and it said website expired. I could not find their Instagram. And then I was left with nothing. I couldn't share this amazing gift that I had experienced. And it happens all the time. So we talked a lot about the preparation. So now that you have those components, listen, first, you're never going to get, this is like, I'm not telling them what to say. They're saying what they want to say on their own. So this is really free information that you need to use to empower your 2022 and moving forward. Listen, how people see you is how they think you are. It is a huge representation. So when you're on social media, I say this all the time, you have to be very careful about what you like, what you don't like, what you entertain, what you comment on. You know, you didn't like Steve Harvey's outfit. And so, you know what I mean? Okay, you know, but sometimes, as my mommy would say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all because you don't know who's watching. And you, Kenneth Mose, when I first started doing work for Pastor Mose, I will never forget this as long as I live. When he contacted me, brought me to the church, said, hey, we're having a concert, won't you come down? I had no idea I was being interviewed. And he told me, I said, am I being interviewed? He said, yes, I'd like you to do work for my church. Huh? This man said, I've been watching you for 3 years. He knew more about me than people that are with me every day. He had been watching me, how I dealt with myself, like how I dealt with people, my character. He called around. You never know what opportunity is waiting for you. So it's really important of how you present yourself. Okay, so that to be said, I like Gay to talk about, and then I want to go to Trayvon. I like Gay to talk about the components I just talked about, maybe in a more clear way, like presentation, social media wise presentation, or more so maybe the promoting part, because people get a booking flyer and they post it. Choose your words, Wesley. People get a booking flyer and they post it and nobody responds. And then they get mad. And so I think there's some critical things that happen there. So I'll let Gabe talk about that part.
All right, I want to piggyback what you said. I tell artists all the time, whoever you are, be careful what you post. I don't just work with, I say, independent artists. I work with a lot of people with big names. So certain things I may want to comment on or post, I don't. My page, you'll see flyers, funny stuff, and food. I love to eat. I'm eating right now. So be mindful what you post, because Pastor Mo may see something I post. He may not never tell me, but he'll tell Elder Moore, or he'll tell Bishop Jason Nelson. Then they be all gay. What you doing? I already know I'm in trouble. So be mindful what you post. With the booking flyer thing, I get all the time, hey, I got a booking flyer. Can you post it for me? Post it for what? Because I'm asking you for a reason. So what's the name? Jerry, I can't even say. Well, my brother makes flyers. He didn't make a dope flyer for you, but say booking now 2022 or whatever. But what are you doing on your page to draw attention to you? Are you even making videos of you singing or preaching or playing the drums or whatever? Let people want to book you. Me putting the flyer out, yeah, they may, I'm going to like it because it's gay, but what are you doing to even draw attention to yourself? Because I use a pastor. You're not going to book a pastor based off of me. Oh, he can preach. If you never heard him preach or where he's coming from, you're not going to book him, period. You're not. Him or her. Just gave a cool person, but I never heard that man preach. Or he don't preach the style for my church. Because every pastor has a style for your house. You know your house better than me. Like you come to my house, I know for a fact where you can go, where you cannot go, and vice versa. So yeah, creators, be very, very mindful of social media, because I'm not going to bring it up, but a lot of people are being attacked on social media. Even managers. Don't just use, I'm going to use me. Don't just use me because you know I got money. Like, be integral or something. Like, make sense. Because a lot of managers now are stealing money. Some pastors are stealing money, or artists stealing money. Just be mindful of everything you're doing, because somebody is watching. Trust me. Like somebody watching this video right now, or going to watch it later on. But I like what they say. I'm gonna take that and run with it type deal. So yeah, be very mindful.
Be very mindful, Trayvon. And then I want to wrap up a little bit. After we all respond, Trayvon, I'd like you to just comment just briefly about presentation whether you be an artist, a creative in the sense of look, of course, is what you do, in the sense of look, fashion. Your thoughts on that?
So presentation wise, one of the main points that I always discuss with whether it be a client or somebody I'm just meeting is knowing your assignment. If you are going, let's say, for example, you're going to a church and you know you're getting up there to preach, you're getting up there to sing, minister, whatever the case may be. It is important that you make yourself presentation wise free from all distractions. The worst thing you can do, and me and Yolanda, we talked about this. The worst thing you can do is get up on stage and let's say, you know, you're singing. Everybody's focus is now what you have on for it could be the right reason, it could be the wrong reason. Your clothes are see-through, or um your clothes are too short, or your clothes are too tight. Things like that, presentation wise, from the standpoint of if just knowing your assignment. If your assignment is to get up there and be in the forefront and minister or whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you make yourself free from distraction. Now, what you may wear, if you're just attending and you're just supporting, that may look a little differently. But just making sure you are free from distractions is going to take you a long way, because you don't want people to miss the message or miss what it is that you're talking about because they're distracted by the way you look. Another point would be, and I'm sure Yolanda and Jared could touch on this as well, making sure that your presentation is put together and is polished. And Yolanda said multiple times before, the worst thing she can do is to create a graphic for someone and you give her a selfie. That does not work. That doesn't allow them to create their best for you if you're giving them a selfie. So invest in yourself. I have a lot of clients that, they'll ask, well, how much is this? And I'll say, okay, well, this is the price. But then if you're not looking to invest in yourself and go all the way, then you're not going to reach your full potential. So make sure that you invest in yourself, not just from a standpoint of the graphics or just the travel or whatever, making sure your presentation look wise is polished and ready to go. And whenever you step into a room, okay, hey, that's Yolanda, or hey, that's Jared, or hey, that's Pastor Dion, or hey, that's Pastor Mickey, based off of your presentation. That is super, super, super important because your presentation precedes you.
Period.
The way you look when you step into a room perceives anything before you even open your mouth. You could be the best preacher, the best singer, the best graphic artist, the best fashion designer, but you can be overlooked because of the way you look.
Wow, I don't disagree. There's a saying that says practice makes perfect. And a really good friend back home, music friend named Michael Williams, used to tell us that's incorrect. Practice makes permanent. So really, it's like when you're in rehearsal and you practice the way you plan to be on stage. And so even with styling, something I realized as he was talking, I dressed okay for Trayvon got to me. I was okay because my mom didn't play that, and she believed in. My mom was a classic girl. She carries heels in her car. True story. And so, there were certain things just that were already in me, if you will. But the more I practiced it, the better I got. And so now there's just a habit. It's just you present a certain way, And I always tell Trayvon will call me and they be like, no, no. He has definitely told me to put a dress back on the rack. No, it doesn't work. I don't care how you're feeling about your body. No. So practice makes permanent. The more you practice it, the better you will become at being cognizant of how you present yourself, be it looks, be it clothing, be it your social media content. Just the better you become at it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the train moving because we're gonna not be here all day. So Jared, like you touched just a little bit on presentation and graphic, because everybody hears me talk about it. Maybe from another graphic designer, graphic wise, just maybe okay. Maybe you can better explain why, because this is the big thing with graphic designers. We hate selfies or professional photos, and I think people think we're just, we're just complaining. But why is it so important? More than just having a great flyer, all that. Why is having professional photos so key?
I think piggybacking off of Trayvon and what's his name? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. The guy who's over promotion and everything. Yes. It's one of those things. It just goes to show how serious you are. If you're a professional and you sang to thousands and thousands of people, you should look like that. You should always look the part, even if you aren't the part. Like, nobody knows if you present yourself in a good way. To me, it's my goal, and I always tell people this, is I always joke about, I do not want to be that one person that messes up the flyer because my photo was terrible. So, whether that is, I used to have longer hair, but whether that is somebody not being able to cut my hair out right, or, me not having enough shoulder and all you see is a sharp cutoff, I've always want to give my best. And I always want people to be able to, use my photos or use whatever to create the best thing for their design, but to represent me the best as well. Like he said, the social media I feel like it's more important these days almost than websites and business cards and all of that. Because, even on lower thirds for churches, everybody is saying, follow me at so-and-so. And if you're a hairstylist, we should be able to go to your page and see clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, that you do hair and you do hair well. We do not want to see your child's 5th birthday party. We don't want to see you singing at church. If you're a hairstylist, you should be a hairstylist. If you're a graphic designer, you should show graphic design. I encourage every entrepreneur, if you like posting both, have a business page and a professional page. Yes. A personal page. Like they said earlier, I love posting funny things and memes and what I cooked and what I went out to town and ate, but that doesn't prove anything to my graphic design clients. They don't care about what I ate. They want to know that whatever they called me for to do is done in excellence. And I think that's my take on that.
Yeah, I think sometimes people want to get right to it.
Yeah.
So people know.
And I got something else is I stated before, is definitely watch what you post on there. I know I joke about certain graphic design issues and things that we all deal with, but I know, case in point, there's one of my friends years ago had shared a meme that was about an artist. And while it was, of course, it was funny and it was true and everything, the artist saw it and said, I will never, ever work with you again because you were out here sharing false information about me. And I didn't find that funny. So it's like, we really have to watch, even if it's somebody we already work for or somebody down the line. They could be like, you the dude that posted this about me years ago. Why am I, you never know who's watching. So we really have to watch what we put out and watch what we say and all of that. I know I'm speaking to the choir because I feel like in a few instances I've probably pushed the envelope. But yeah, that's my take on, I call it visual professionalism. So
we'll be taking that. Yeah, what he just said. So again, the movie just happened, right? So when Kevin Hart, I think it was the Oscars, right? Was it the Oscars? And something that he posted on Twitter came back and bit him. So, it just goes to show people are watching. I've been preaching this for a very long time. I'm telling y'all, you can't comment on everything. Some things have to be pillow talk. If you got somebody, okay, we still safe here. So if you got somebody that I saw Pastor King, if you got somebody that you can talk to a pillow on, if not, then it needs to be with your wall or your mom or something. Like, for real, there are some things you cannot comment on, right? So, if you don't like Tank, I'll use Tank. If you don't like Tank, you're not with his, we can talk challenge, and you can't sing, but actually the other way, and you can sing, There's some things that are not wisdom. Okay, it's social media, but you still have to use wisdom when you post what you say. There was a comedian, doesn't need to say his name, and he shamed another comedian, and people are eating this guy alive. There's just some things you can refrain from, right? You gotta use some restraint. Sometimes it's just, I'm telling y'all, you will lose a job, you will lose a client, you will lose a connection because you just couldn't hold it. And sometimes you just got to know when to hold, as the man says, you got to know when to hold and you got to know when to fold. Okay. Pastor Dion. So then I'm gonna wrap up. So Pastor Dion, your advice for musicians. I won't give it all away, but your advice, what Gabriel just told me to do, but I won't give it all away. But your advice, like, I don't know, like a minute advice for musicians, because musicians, I feel like, bless your hearts, they just get lost sometimes, and it's not their fault. I think just sometimes they get lost in the sauce, and people think, people push them aside, and they matter. Y'all matter. Okay, we can't sing if you don't play. Some of us. So sorry, just slipped out. So some people can do both, but we need y'all because you make things work, right? You on stages as big as Beyonce and Mary J and church, and it's in so many places. And I think a lot of times people forget about these people, be it girl or be it boy. And they are amazing creatives. They make things work. They make things magical. Pastor Dion.
Well, you all have said so much, and I've taken something from everybody that has been amazing. But one of the things that stuck out to me was practice make permanent. And I think during the pandemic, there's musicians that caught an understanding of where the world was going and fixed their business, just not to be stuck with no options. But I think there's some that made some adjustments to say, you know what, I'm going to operate with unlimited opportunities, because if I just only put myself in one area, I get stuck. And then another thing, through the pandemic, and I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but during the pandemic, a lot of musicians found out the heart of the leader concerning them. Mm-hmm. And so what it did, it turned them away from hearing what the pastor, the prophet, all of us had to say, until love had to return. There had to be some different things that had to return. And some of them took other options. But I do believe that some of musicians have been mishandled because of intimidation, because a lot of them know word just as much as the leader. And the leader said, shut up and follow me and do what I say. But if sometimes a musician, and I know this is probably not going to be popular for me, because I sit in the seat of a pastor. But before I was a pastor, I was a musician, and there's a lot of gifted, a lot of amazing anointed musicians that can lead, that they can build. And I think if you cap them and you put them only in this MD category, but you never let them stretch outside of just MDing, because a lot of them that are MDing are eventually going to be pastors. A lot of them that are MDing are prophetic. They can tell you the word of the Lord. You can give them a mic and they'll tell you the word of the Lord. But some of them have to hide behind and only just be, I'm going to say this, hired whores. We treat them like a flame. And so some of them only go to a certain part of their life. But I do believe that in 2022, that there's going to be strange opportunities. There's going to be some musicians that are going to come back to the church. There's some musicians that are going to find out that the Lord called them into strange rooms, that they're going to be in rooms and their gifting is going to express in the rooms. Just because I'm in that room don't make me be like them. I'm in the room, and I'm here because I pastor everything. I have a young man at my church who writes for everybody, but loves God so much. So do I tell him, just because you write, you have to abandon your livelihood? So I'm gonna say this: God is gonna allow some musicians, singers, some more people to go in rooms, and they're gonna cause salvation to happen in the room. They're gonna cause people to return back to God in a room that some of them would never step foot in church ever again. But there has to be someone to go out to the world. He told us to go. He told us to go. Well, we've been telling them to come, and some of them saying, "I'm not coming because you hurt me." We're gonna have to have a conversation of, some of you hurt me, you embarrassed me when I was here. You embarrassed me when I failed. I only thing I did was my flesh got in the way, true enough, but you embarrassed me and you did not restore me. There has to be some conversations that's going to have to come between musicians and some pastors, because some of the time it has been that some have been restored, some have mishandled some pastors, some have lied on pastors. There's some pastors that have taken on hits, because a lot of pastors, you can't tell your side of the story all the time. You have to just it up and have to keep on going. But some of the time, some of the time, it was a miscommunication. It was a miscommunication. And so I feel like God is restoring, is going to restore some musicians, and that he's going to heal the brokenhearted. He's going to heal the brokenhearted. And I really believe that that God is going to cause that to happen within the room. Bishop Mosley said something about David, and David said, "What is the reward?" A lot of the musicians that are coming to church is like, what is the reward? Because we got to be careful. We got to understand this. When David got the rocks, it wasn't just, oh man, these rocks are here. No, he was skillful at throwing this rock. It is something that they practice in the field. So he just didn't pick up these rocks just because there was land there. He picked up the rocks because I'm skillful at this. This is something that I use. My brothers are not aware of this, but it is something that I use. So what I got to do now is take what I've used. I understand the reward of it, and I have one shot. I have one shot, but I have some more rocks. But the reason that I have some rocks, because I know he has some more brothers. But the thing is, I have one shot. And I think right now that we're going to have to restore some people to being what they're supposed to be. Because honestly, and I'm just saying this from a pastor who deal with musicians, deal with people in the secular area. Some of us have one shot. We have one shot. You're gonna throw, and I know I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but you're gonna throw all of what you have learned in your generation. Remember, we have to evolve now the way we have done it. Now, I'm not talking about we lose our foundational principles and the standards that we've lived in, but that just because let me say this, we have to keep on evolving. So maybe the method has to change. The foundation stays the same, but the method of how we have done this, the drawing card has to be a little different, because now they have options. They have options, and the church feel like, I'm gonna give you the crumbs, when the other people are saying, I give you the whole cake. You have options, and a lot of them are going to the cake because the cake looks well, the cake tastes good, the cake is taking care of their children, and you hurt me in the process because you didn't know how to handle me. So I think there has to be a talk with pastors, there has to be a talk with musicians, because some of us as pastors fumbled them. drop them, but there are some pastors that we have dealt with musicians that have been dropped by others, but we have to be in a position where we're saying, I came tonight, or I came today to pick you up. Your caretaker dropped you, but I came to pick you up.
Jesus. Pastor, that was good. No, every word you said is true. And I'm saying this as a pastor. I haven't received payroll for like out of the year, maybe 3 months out of the year. I paid my musicians the entire pandemic.
Wow.
And we were closed for 11 months. There was no way. And I know some good pastor friends. They said streaming was the best thing ever because they were able to get rid of the staff and the giving came up and they got them a PPP loan. They paid themselves. They didn't have to pay no utilities and had all the musicians collecting unemployment. So I told my musicians, I said, no way. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I got one of my musicians who plays with Joe. The other one travels with Mary Jane, others. And this is what I say to everyone. They kind of get offended with me. I said, but I used to work for Pepperidge Farm. That's secular.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you want to tell all your members they can't work for Amazon? Are you really going to tell your members well you can only, cater for restaurants that are Christian? I got a member that's a bartender. What am I supposed to tell them? You're going to hell. You're mixing drinks. No, I tell them pay your tithes.
Right.
Just make sure you ain't drunk.
Right.
So we have to decide what we want to do and what is important. And for me, and what I've learned is, and this is what they've told me, over 70% of the musicians on tours are church musicians.
Yes.
The bulk of what we're listening to that's hot and got flavor and like those are church musicians that have created and were producing and working in studios. And one of my best mentors, a great guy and phenomenal musician, true man of God, minister of music there, Allen Cathedral, Stanley Brown. I mean, you go to his Instagram page, you follow him, you see the people he's produced and written songs for, and you can't tell me he's not anointed. And I think that there's so much about this that we don't want to be honest about. And I told one of my, I'm Pentecostal, I'm apostolic, I'm holiness to the core. Right. But I told someone, I said, I tell my members we don't drink. We don't get drunk. I said, but I can't tell you you're going to hell for drinking. I said, because Jesus' first miracle, he turned water into wine. And according to the master of the wedding, he said it was the best wine available. So we have to decide and figure, again, make sure I put my disclaimer. I did not tell y'all to go get a drink in Jesus' name. I'm saying to you, we need to decide. We need to decide what part is sanctification. Yes, what is sir. God expecting? And I'm trying to teach my ministers and my aspirants, if it's okay, and Brightman's moral laws, the law of consistency. If it's okay, I can do it. That's all I'm trying to tell you. So if I'm not going to make it a law, we're not going to create doctrine. All I'm trying to say is, if you could wear your leggings with your big old behind out and do praise and worship in it, I'm going to preach in my Speedos and let you look at my joint and let's see what God says. I said, now I know the membership will grow. Somebody's going to be saved. But we have to decide, okay, did I say the wrong thing?
No, I love it. I love it.
We need to decide what is actually appropriate and what's not appropriate. Some stuff that we're calling holiness is just inappropriate. There's no way, and I'm not going to try to body shame you, but to whom much is given, much is what? Required. God gave you all that joy behind you. There's a requirement with all that joy. And it can't be shared while we're singing praise and worship. That's all I try to tell them. When God made you look like that, you got to decide what's appropriate, what not to do. Same too with the gifts of musicians. We have to let them know, like, that works. That's a good sound. That's too worldly. That's too much. And there's so much about, of course, the pandemic has taught all of us. It's taught everyone. And this is my last thing, and I'm done. They don't like my church. People say a lot of things, but my church is an ark. It's an ark. I got two of everything. So you don't got to ask me, do I have a gay person in my church? I'm gonna tell you, I got two. I got two of everything in my church. And what I know about relevant and real ministry, the world is drawn to the light. If you don't have sinners active in your church and in your ministry, if folk ain't coming in your church that are high, smelling like weed, getting drunk, looking in your kind of, then you trust me, you're not preaching a good gospel. A good gospel, a strong church is going to have the multitude. One of the biggest critiques of Jesus's ministry was who was hanging with him. Wine bibbers, harlots. But I try to tell everybody, you can say whatever you want to say. It's the harlot that was at the tomb first. And we're trying all this, like, no, I don't discriminate, and I don't let people chase folk away from my church. I tell them that what I preach is good enough. Bring any sinner, you come to this church, because you can't stay the same way. What I preach here, let the word fix them. Let the word fix them. And I tell my members all the time, leave my members alone. I got men that have purses that are better than the women at my church. And I tell people, mind your business. I told one of my church mothers, be nice, mother. I'm just tired of this foolishness. Holiness is right. I said, I know it's right, mother, but you got 7 kids. Yes. Your oldest one is 41. You right, Pastor, and you've been married 25 years. That's right, mother, do the math. You was not always holy. Your kids are long older than your marriage.
Come on.
Give somebody some time to get delivered. They got quiet. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Give somebody time to get delivered. The church it's become a dangerous place. We have no space for anything. And of course, depend if they're our friends, they're fine. If we like them, they're okay. But if they are not what we like or they're not our friends, we want them sat down. We want them silenced. We want them. I'm finished on this, I promise. The one else told me, Pastor, this person need to sit down. I said, well, if we're going to sit down for sin, I got to get rid of half of my deacons and my mothers. What? Because y'all all gluttons. So if we don't sit down sinners, I'm going to start with the liars and the gluttons. I know y'all want to get the whores and homosexuals. Let's deal with the people, the seed sowers, the ones God hates. Let's have the same what God hates. He don't hate homosexuals and whoremongers. He calls them reprobates. I said, but he hates seed sowers. I'm done. I'm not gonna say nothing else. I done messed up the chat room. Ain't nobody talking.
Oh no,
and ain't nobody gonna go on my page no more. That's all right. They already mad at me because I didn't. I'm saying the Tank challenge. Y'all be blessed. I'm be quiet.
Come on, Tank. I'm gonna say this and that. Yo, can I say something? All right. Last year. Because sometimes we can be monitors as pastors. We try to monitor everybody's salvation, and so I was living life, somewhat trying to monitor the people that were with me. And the Lord told me, He said, Dion, stop trying to monitor their life. Preach the word of God. They're gonna make a choice anyway. Let them make the choice, and you just keep on living. Cause you'll try to kill yourself trying to monitor people's salvation and try. No, my son is on this live, and he can sing. He can lead you. He can worship, and give you God, and then he'll take you to the bedroom. But that's my son, though. So when he did a CD release, guess who was there? Me. I'm at his release because I love my son. And the Bible says this, Peter. The enemy, the devil, want to sift you as wheat, but I pray for you that your faith won't fail. And then when you are converted, that's the issue that we have with a lot of times. We don't never get our musicians. We never pour into our musicians to strengthen them, to convert them. They got saved, but that was not a conversion. That was not a commitment. That was nothing to change. He said, then you go strengthen your brothers. Some of us, we're not strengthening them. We're killing them. We blast their name on social media. We don't come into a place that we restore them. When they fall, they get off. only thing we do, we block, we unfollow, we tell someone else. But have you gotten someone that you said, I'm going to love you out of this? No matter how long it looks, no matter the process, I'm going to love you out of this. I've learned sometimes the greatest opinion you can have is to shut up. My grandmama told me one time, we was talking, and she got to a place where everybody, they were saying what they want to say, and she said, you know what, I'm just gonna shut up. And what she was telling her, I don't have nothing else to say about it, because what it is, I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. The only thing I can do is preach to you. If you make a decision, you're gonna live it, you're gonna live it. But if anything, you can't say that pastor didn't love me. That's one thing it's not gonna be. That Pastor D didn't love me. I think that we have to have some conversation with musicians, singers too, because they need I think musicians, creative, graphic designers. Some pastors don't do graphic designers right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm done.
No. I certainly agree that there was a lot of shifting during the pandemic, and a lot of people made a lot of moves, and I think a lot of moves, if I could say respectfully, probably were made out of frustration. A lot of moves were made out of a lot of misunderstandings, as Pastor Dion said. There were a lot of conversations that just didn't happen. And so I think, I hope that 2020 and 2021 has taught us, just the power of communication, the power of having a conversation, the power of sitting down and getting clarity. I mean, even for, people who offer services, a lot of times we pick on the clients. I just want to be honest, but sometimes some of this stuff is our fault because we just didn't have the conversation. We assumed that it was supposed to be this and it was really that. And Jared said something really good. He said at the end of the day, sometimes people just, this is their preference. And sometimes at the end of the day, you have to be okay with their preference because they're still paying you for a service. You don't have to allow anybody to treat you bad. You don't have to settle for less than what you deserve. My pastor said something really good today as he was speaking into a couple people's lives. And he said, you lowered the contract because you didn't think you were worthy for the amount you really wanted to ask for. And so sometimes we lower our standard, be it for a girl, be it for a guy, be it for this, be it for a gig, because we don't think we're worthy, although I'm pretty sure everybody's this really quiet in some ways. We don't think we're worthy of what we really deserve, right? If you've been doing graphic design 5 years, if you've been doing promotions 10 years, you are well worthy of what you're asking for. There's a difference between greed and asking for what you really deserve. So, as Pastor Dean said, I think there's some conversations that should happen with a lot of people in a lot of different spaces. And so I just want to challenge people to have a conversation. I don't like confrontation. But what I've learned is you can't deal with what you cannot deal with what you don't confront. And if you don't confront it, it's always going to be there. You got to the point where it doesn't bother you, but it's like way pushed down, way down in the bottom of you. And the moment somebody says something left to you, it all comes back up. That's because you never dealt with it in the first place. So that's hopefully helpful to creatives too, because I know there's a lot of creatives who deal with anxiety, they get stressed out, and something Jared said as well. Mental days are okay. It is okay to tell people no. I told the pastor this a couple weeks ago. It is okay to tell people no. You do not owe people that much of you. It is okay to shut down and take, your wife or take your family or whatever to the movies. It's okay to say, nope, we're not doing any conversations today. I'm watching the football game. I just believe that, we grew up since we're in the church space, we grew up in a different era of church. Most people watching, or maybe people on this live, where my childhood pastor literally pastored until the day he died. He was about 85 years old, and he pastored until the day he died. He didn't do anything else. And we've all learned we don't have to live our life like that. So I'm just saying, live as well as you can, long as you can. Okay, so the last 30 seconds, I like to go from Jared to Gay to Pastor Dion. I'll do the pastors last. Let me go another way. I just thought I should shift another way. So I like to do the last 30 seconds of giving your final remarks or just something you really would like to share for creatives, and then how people can get in contact with you, starting with the lady of the house, starting with Pastor King. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm going to go back and listen to this over and over again because I'm quite sure there's all kinds of nuggets and amazing things that's going to just make me shout, laugh, cry, all of it. So I'm going to go back and look at this for sure. But I just wanted to just drop this to the creative. If you would just really grab this, because this helped me over the years. There's a thing that I call MCA. The MCA is mental creative art. And it's whatever, how God has made your mind psychologically, whatever you hear, your mind automatically draws the picture. Well, we're already creative. When I say that, because I'm a creative as well, we're already creative in mind. So we always have different things that's coming to our mind, always have some amazing idea, always got something going on in our head. Oftentimes we get exhausted by doing the thing that you were not given time for, but you're spending a lot of time on. I'm going to give to you Hebrews 4:1. When it talk, I'm sorry, Hebrews 4:12, when it says the word of the Lord is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing asunder, watch this, soul from spirit. Because there's going to come a time in your life when you get real intentional about moving forward, that you're going to need the word of God to be able to separate what's me and what's God. Because you're constantly, because of the way that a creative mind works, it's constantly going to be, you can look at Borney and gonna come up with a whole way to build a community center. You could be looking at that, because our minds constantly work. So you got to figure out in this time, what's God and what's me. Put the things that's you to rest and make sure that you spend intentional time on the thing that God is giving you today. Every single day of your life, you need to marry the reason why you're here. Every day, every single day of your life, you need to marry the reason why you're here. You all can get me on Facebook. You can get me on Instagram, all the way across the board. I am Mickey King, and I am here to pull out of your life what you got stuck in your mouth. I do one-on-ones specifically for people that need to keep their business private, because as a first lady and a pastor, for over 20 some years, I understand the delicacy of your situation, but I also understand that the enemy may have you on this Lulu because you don't have anybody to give you strategy. So if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to me. I would absolutely love to do a one-on-one with you. And thank you for the opportunity to be with these brilliant men. I appreciate you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart.
I love you too. She's amazing. Let me say this part about Mickey King. I met her through a really great friend of mine, Cedric Shannon, who we both love very dearly. And I could say a ton of things, but I find this woman to be very, very brilliant. And every time she walks into the room, I am amazed. And when Trayvon was talking about your presentation procedure, that's how I feel about her. Now, please don't get this braid on the side mistaken. This woman, first of all, she's extremely gorgeous. And when she walks into a room, you can't help but to pay attention. She is brilliant. And so I suggest, if you're looking to work your life, if you're looking to figure it out, if you want somebody that, and even if you don't know me, trust this. If I tell you something's good, it's good. If I tell you it's bad, it's bad. If I say don't go to that restaurant, don't go. I've just tried enough food to know. If I say to you, this music is good, that means I've probably listened to it. I listened to Jesus Save the Day about 45 times today. It's a great song. Get my point? So she can be trusted. She is an amazing person. She will hold your whole life. She's inboxed me many a day. One day she inboxed me and she said, "You cannot fall apart." I'll never forget that. She said, "You don't get the right to fall apart. If you need help, let's talk." So you need people like that in your You need people like that in your life. Pastor Dion says something. I'm really trying to not let Jesus, Holy Ghost in me come out. But Pastor Dion said something my pastor said. First, shout out to my pastor show. I want to say this, my pastor of Half Life Church. I just think you're doing a great job, sir. You may see this and may not tell me you saw it, but I think you're doing a great job. He unfortunately lost his mother about a month or so ago. And it's not easy, when your mom is a part of your life and she was at your church and she worked at your church. And so you're used to seeing her face and the face is not there. And he came back to church to preach today and it was crazy amazing. And he said something. He said two things. One thing he says every week and something he said today. Number one is whatever you don't celebrate exits your life. He says that every week. And I believe that. So if you're my friend, you probably tell you I love you all the time. I tell you I appreciate you all the time because I firmly believe what you don't celebrate will exit your life. The other part is something Pastor Dion said. As creatives, you need to vent up. You should never vent down. He said he has friends who are horizontal people with you on the same line. But when you have some real life stuff going on, when you are in a crazy situation, and let's say, I don't know, let's go way up. Let's say you're doing work for Beyonce. You cannot vent to your cousin Nuck Nuck. Okay? That sounds funny, but let me tell you something that is true. Some people cannot hold it. And when you're in a strange situation and you don't know what to do, when someone, I remember maybe about a year ago, someone took my money, literally. Someone pulled a scam on me. The scams I was talking about earlier. Someone pulled a scam on me. They took my money, and I called a really great friend, and I said, I am this. She said, you will not. She said, you are a woman of character. You are a woman of this. You are a woman of that. And let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to be quiet. You can always make the money back, but you can't get your character back. Vent up. Now, I know I'm usually not really stern all the time. I'm telling y'all, vent up. Don't vent on social media. Don't vent in the comments. Don't vent, in your stories. We've all been guilty. Thinking nobody knows what you're talking about. And most of the time, people don't. But there are those that know what you're talking about. And people, as we have learned, it's called screenshot. And they will screenshot your message and they will post it and they will share it. I'm telling you what I believe. Vent up. If you're going through, you got to have somebody, and that's why I said her, because I feel like she has that component that allows her to ask you questions that you don't want to answer, because I've experienced it and I've been in the room when she does it. So if it's not her, then somebody who has the capability to help you process, because everybody doesn't have that part. I'm not married yet. Operative work. Amen. He coming. Whoever he is, be fine. Amen. So all I'm saying is it may not be wisdom to vent to me about your marital situation. I'm not married. Right? Use wisdom. All right. So no. Gabriel, 30 seconds. Your last thoughts or comments or parts.
Last off, first I want to say thank you for inviting me on this panel with great people. If y'all ever need me, hit me up. You need my number. I'll send it to you. But all I want to give is just keep pushing. I've been rolling with that since I was 28. I thought I committed suicide at 28. I'm 39 years old now. Just keep pushing. Times will get hard, period. You may feel like you just want to drink yourself to death. So I tried it. It didn't work. It's not going to work. But keep pushing. That's my best advice. Nothing super deep. Just keep pushing. That's it.
That's it. And he does promotions, and he's amazing at it. And he does what he says he's going to do. I tried the service myself. It works. So it's worth it. Whatever he asks you for, trust me, he knows what he's doing. So it's worth it. Okay. Trayvon, last 30 seconds or so. Comments, quick fashion advice, or how to reach you.
So just to sum up everything in a nutshell, just in 2020, invest in yourself. If there's no one more important in this season is, I mean, especially coming out of the pandemic, because I do believe we're coming out. Coming out of this pandemic, just invest in yourself. Like I said, your presentation perceives you. And as we see right now, the world is opening up. You know, churches are starting to open back up. Events are starting to happen, and just make sure that now that we've had this time of just being able to reflect and having this time to really just hone in on ourselves. Just make sure coming out of this pandemic, you are putting your best foot forward and presenting yourself and presenting your business or whatever it is that you do. And lastly, like I said earlier, you can find me on all social media platforms. Anthony Rose FP. Connect with me if you're looking for styling services. Like I said, I also design personal and custom pieces as well. So anything fashion wise, just hit me up. Like I said, all social media platforms, Anthony Rose FP, or if you spell it out, it's Anthony Rose Fashions and Productions.
Jared?
Piggybacking off of Trayvon, like you said, take yourself serious. Nobody is going to take you serious if you don't take yourself serious. You can find me at Jared Michael Design Company. Well, it's CO. It's Jared Michael Design CO on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you so much for inviting me on.
Pastor Dion?
I was enjoying everybody. I want to say this. Well, I'm with you 100%. So you already know. And it was a blessing to have all you guys and ladies who has done an amazing job. I have a lot of things written down that you all have said. I believe that the way you obtain anything, you have to take notes. But if I can leave something with creatives, I'm gonna pull from the area of my life that is known for, and I'm gonna say this: in 2022, you have to be open to embracing strange opportunities. God is gonna open you up to working, flowing, problems, being a problem solver outside of your comfort area. The areas of your life that you've learned how to be have a comfort in, you're going to see that God is going to take you out of those comfort areas to put you in areas that is going to benefit your life moving forward. I'm just telling you that you're going to have to marry, and I love that she said, but I told my church today, you're going to have to marry opportunities, new opportunities, and divorce is not an option. So I just declare over your life, whatever you are endeavoring to do, don't be what is the word I'm looking for? Don't be dismayed if it comes in the form of what you felt like is not God. God is going to be in a lot of the opportunities moving forward that you thought that it was worldly, but God is going to be in the middle of it. I love you.
Thank you, Pastor Dion. So first, let me say thank you for hanging out with us. I know my lives never, they're not ever like, I don't know, they don't ever have all the right questions, but we shoot off the top. And my whole goal is to help people. I know I'm not on lives as much because, amen, the roll calls, but let me share this with you. My whole goal was to help creators because I'm a creative. It may be a newer term, but I've been a graphic designer 15 years. I've been singing all my life. And I know how it feels to be really alone and be by yourself, trying to figure it out. Nobody there to help you, feeling like you're crazy. Why do I don't know. Why do I see people's faces when I'm walking down the street? Why do I why do I tap out when I'm in a room? Why am I always hearing songs? I wake up hearing songs. It's the first time I've ever said it out loud. Now I know Pastor Dion's going to hold me to it. I wake up hearing songs almost every day. Every day my head is like a radio. Every day. In the middle of the store. I'm here like, where did this song come from? So you're not crazy. You're not by yourself. It's just the beautiful way that God built you. And when you can accept the way that God built you, you can really conquer who you're supposed to be in life. When you can accept the way he stamped you, if you're a curvy girl, just go ahead and be okay with it, girl. Be healthy. As we all, as I preach, be healthy, take care of yourself, but just go ahead and be okay with it. If you're a thicker guy, just be okay with it. When you try to constantly fight that system, you're going to be upset. When I learned that my grandmother was a brick house, what was I going to do? I can't reverse the genes. So I have to be okay with it and take good care of myself, okay? So this is my last point. This is my 30 seconds or my 60 seconds. There are a lot of people who have great ideas, businesses you should be doing, and your first thought is, I don't like social media. Okay, I just want to help you really nicely. People only know what you tell them. We don't know anything else. You don't have to give your whole life to social media. You can share what you do and the things that are necessary in a very, really cool way. Like Jared said, we don't know you're a graphic designer, and as Gabriel said, we don't know you're a singer if you don't talk about it. That's all you got to talk about. You don't have to talk about who you're with. You don't have to talk about what you did yesterday. But if you go in with the mind of, I don't like social media and I don't want to be a part of that system, you can lose out on very, 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 very powerful opportunities. I would not know Pastor Dion. Wow. I would not know anybody on this platform except for Trayvon had I not been a part of social media. I met Jared through social media. I met Gabriel through social media. Pastor Kenneth Moles so graciously hired me to do work for his church. I met Pastor King, but we've had more connection all through social media. You can't hate a system that's free. Stop being mad at it. Use it what it's supposed to be used for and move on. Stop hating on the guy. Just use the system for what it's supposed to be used for, and then let everything do the rest. Okay, so we're going to end in prayer. We're going to end in prayer with Pastor Kenneth Moles with his last words.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate the opportunity to serve and share. I've been going back in and out on the video. I'm actually home with my wife, so we've been celebrating 25 years. We have an empty nest, and some of the stuff is just not for video. I'm just trying to be.
Come on!
The laying on of hands ministry. It works at home, saints. It works at home. All right. Anyway, but thank you all for this time. If you would, my last 30 seconds would be this very briefly. God doesn't give money to all creatives. He's not a banker. Deuteronomy 8:18 declares, remember the Lord the God, and for all the way that he's brought you, for it is he that has given you power to obtain wealth. God does not give money. He gives talents. He gives gifts. And as a creative, you will remain broke until you use your talent to build wealth. God does not give wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18, for it is he that gives us power to obtain wealth. Wealth is not obtained through angels, angelic hosts, or money from the sky, or money cometh or open heavens. Money comes through creatives that utilize the talent that God has given them. And if you're faithful over a few things, he'll make you ruler over many. With that said, let's pray. Kind eternal Father, thank you for Sister Yolanda, for all these that have come to share. Thank you for the many gifts, the myriad of faith and grace, and in particular, gifts that you've offered the body of Christ. We pray that you give us the grace in this moment to transition through this hour, this season. Thank you for keeping us through the pandemic. Thank you for recreating our lives and giving us a new destiny and purpose in which to go after. We pray that you would order our steps and that you would be so kind to give us mercy and grace in all that we do and understand. We pray that for every creative and those that are watching this broadcast, that their life will be changed and that no weapon formed against them us shall be able to prosper. We believe and receive that in Jesus' name. Be with us now, we pray. Amen. Appreciate you all. Have a great night. So Yolanda, I got to go. I have to go play tag.
Well, good night. Amen. Well, with that note,
On that note,
wow, what did you say to that?
How you
Okay,
gonna
well, praise God for the marriage ministry.
all about it?
I mean, wow.
Go get a reverend.
Okay, well, amen. So if you're ever in the area of if you are ever in Connecticut, Pastor most pastors, which he didn't say all this, but he pastors a church called Cathedral. And so you ever hear the da, 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 bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, dum, 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 oh, da, 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 da. All that's him. Actually, his father patented that. So it's a great place. You won't regret. Trayvon, you should just make a trip. you will not regret that. It is a really, really a great place. And so, if you're ever in the area of St. Louis, you should stop by and see Pastor King. If Trayvon is a phenomenal stylist, thank you so much. He just gets better and better and better by the day. Pastor Dion, I just love you and your wife. You already know. Just love y'all like the bomb. And Jared is my great graphic friend. And so we have great conversations. I'm proud of him though. He's making his gift graphically is something I'm very jealous of what Jesus gave you so fast. So he's very amazing. And listen, I'm gonna say this: there's enough room for everybody. There's enough room for everybody. If I'm not the person for you, I'm just not your person. And I've learned to be okay with that. If Jared's your person, he's your person. Somebody else is your person, they're your person. Just treat your person right. And Gabriel Most, he does a lot of great promotion. Reach out, he'll take care of you, he'll get it done. So all that said, all hearts and minds clear. Amen. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight. I'm honored that you would hang out with me. If you'll be in the Houston area, I'll be there with Kevin Lemons and Higher Calling next week. And let's make it do. Have a great, great week. And live your life to the best of your ability. Good night. Night.